Like
Yeah.
that's just weird. Like, dog, not like I'm not everybody's type, and whoever that was, you definitely not Jenkins type. So
So I actually, there was a girl and she had said something. Somebody had asked about like seeing a cute girl at the gym.
yo, Jinx, welcome back to another edition of Cave or Conquer. How are you?
Doing pretty good. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. And but I don't know if I'm really good because I've got a pet peeve that I want to talk about. So let's start this podcast off with the pet peeve. So my pet peeve of the week is people not being able to communicate. And I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know what the hell it is, but like people are just weird. They don't even say excuse me anymore. Or have you had any experiences like that? Because like I'm like, dang, dog, like it, literally, I was in line with my daughter. I was at Chick-fil-A and this I mean, he probably was like high school age, but no crap. He was like this close to me. And he was like fidgeting too. Like I'm like, is this kid on drugs? Like I'm like so I don't know if you having the same experiences out here, but like people are just not peopling. I don't even know if that's a word.
I feel like, I feel like I don't have that as much of an issue with that, but I also feel like when I walk around in general, um,
Mhm.
I feel like with just kind of my look that I got right now, people tend to just kind of move. Like they don't like people I feel like they assume that like I'm a fighter usually. And so it's
Uh-huh.
like I don't know. So that specific issue I haven't had problems with.
Okay. Well, and I think it's more the communication aspect. Like I don't know, or maybe I just smell so good they want to be close. But like I'm like at least like can I get some? I don't know. It's really
It's like
weird. Like
it's like that cologne commercial. Oh, what is it? Yeah, because there's the one, and it's always that commercial. And it's always like the guy puts it on, and then all the ladies like go up and start like trying to
like
like
that
touch him.
axe was it axe back in the day?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and sometimes I ask myself that, but like I feel like I spray on like I got some nice colognes that I I'm saying I keep, but like you don't smell yourself after a while, like because it's you. You know what I mean? So maybe that's what it is. But I don't know. That was just my gym peeve of the week. But anything crazy happened this week for you?
So my general pet peeve, and I think this is very common among women, is when you get hit on at the gym. That is one of my biggest gym pet peeves. And my, I think, funny story with it. So, a little awkward. I don't know what possessed the person to tell me. But anyway, I am at the gym and luckily I was done. So at least the guy like decided to shoot his shot like when I was done. But the way that he did it was so just asinine. Um, so we're talking back and forth. He's talking about like potentially thinking about like doing like a bodybuilding show or whatnot. And like I let him know that like I'm coaching and I've got experience in it and whatnot. And if he needs some help, like let me know. Like we could talk about it. And he tells me right then and there, he's like, so actually I don't know like if you've noticed, but like I've been like kind of like looking at you the last couple like times you've been in the gym. And he's like, I actually saw you on Bumble, and then I saw that you came here. I didn't realize that you came here, but anyway, I swiped right on you on Bumble. I mean, obviously, like I know that you swiped left, and he just kind of like paused, and I'm like, ah, like what do I say to that? So my pet peeve is when guys do weird shit in the gym, hitting on women. And like the worst part was he was like, I wasn't even gonna tell you because I didn't want to make it awkward. It's like, well, you busted that one. So every time I go to the gym now, I refer to him as the bumblebee. So
The bumblebee.
the
That I don't
bumblebee.
know. Like, do you like literally walk up to him like, "Hey, Bumblebee, how you doing today?"
Oh no, I don't talk to
you
him. But like if I'm
completely
talking
conflict
to
avoided.
if I Yeah, I just try to not like I keep these headphones on all the time, and it's super loud. It's loud enough to where like other people can probably hear it. Uh,
Hmm.
so if that's not a hint, I don't know what is. But yeah, like usually, like if I go home, like I talk to my husband about it, it's like, oh, like Bumblebee was at the gym tonight, and it's just like,
That's awesome. Well, and it is weird because now with social media, with all the swipes and stuff like that, like I literally saw, I'm like, dang, did they swipe on me? But I would never like have the gall to walk up to them and be like, oh, you swipe left on me. Like it's kind of scary because the statistics now is like 1/3 of like all men like 29 and over like are complete virgins.
really?
Like these, yes, yes. So like and it's hard for people to understand that like that makes them very very thirsty, so a lot of times they don't even understand like social graces. Like social media has really like it's magnified a lot. Like it can work because you got, I know you got the OnlyFans thing going on and all that stuff, so it actually works. The dollars work in your favor from a digital standpoint, but from like an actual social standpoint, and then I don't
No.
like, that's why when I'm at the gym, I ain't saying nothing to nobody. I'm in there getting my weights. Like, yeah, there's a lot of beautiful, attractive ladies in there, but I'm like, I'm trying to get in, I'm trying to get out. And sometimes that also like I'll move to a certain area of the gym and they'll gravitate that way just so we, what I'm saying? I'm like, so what I'll do, and I've tested this, right? Like, cause somebody could be like, nah, bro, you imagine this. So I take the weights from this place, I go over there, I start doing this workout, and then I do it again, and I move to the, it's like this 3 cycle placement. I'm like, I'm not talking.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just there's a lot going on, and I don't know. People are just socially awkward. So tips to the listeners: don't go up to people in the gym and say really awkward things like that.
Yeah.
That's just weird. Like, dog, not like I'm not everybody's type, and whoever that was, you definitely not Jenkins type. So
So I actually, there was a girl and she had said something. Somebody had asked about like seeing a cute girl at the gym. It was on Instagram. I think her name was like Old Soul Made New. Like that's her handle. Um, but someone mentioned something about there's this really cute girl at the gym. Like I really want to say something to her, don't know how to approach her. And she had a really good response. She was like, whatever you do, like if she is getting ready to go into a set or like is like just coming out of a set, like do not go up and talk to her. Like don't ruin her workout. But if you are around, like when she's done and she's just like, I feel like time's out and it works out like that, and you want to talk to her, she's like, go up to the girl and then like acknowledge how you saw her just like busting her ass during the workout, and you think like it's super cool like seeing a girl come in with like a really hard work ethic. And she was like, that will probably open the door up like so much more than any weird shit that normally comes out of a male's mouth. Like I
yeah.
don't know, no offense man, but y'all are kind of dense sometimes.
Hey, don't throw me in there. I look. Nah, and see, that's the hardest part. Is like a lot of them, since they lack the communication skills, it's just weird altogether. And like
Mm.
it's weird. And now I understand, and I see. So I see where like girls have been coming from when they talk about like guys, like what I'm saying weird stuff, hitting on them in like inappropriate places, catcalling, like, and then you look at them and you're like, and I'm like, bro, you really didn't have a chance. Like, I'm not fickle, but I'm like, dog, like, it's some things that you need to work on before you step to holler at this person. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you do coaching sessions. So booking online with Robbie Jenkins. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mhm.
all right, so
Yep.
let's get to today's topic. So today's topic is more isn't always better, less isn't always more.
Yep.
So,
Oh, sorry.
nah, go ahead. Nah, yeah.
No, I was thinking. So I think this is one of the topics that I sent you, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, like the whole mentality behind like more isn't always better, less isn't always more is a very common theme that I've noticed since I've started coaching, and even just in bodybuilding in general, watching other people's coaching and just like their journeys and stuff, is everybody feels like that they need to be doing more when it comes to training. Like you got to train like the hardest. You got to have the constant grind. You got to have like the most volume. You got to have all this, like that and the other. But then you look at their nutrition and they're just completely just slicing and taking away from their nutrition. And so when I sent you, more isn't always better, like less isn't always more. I'm really talking about the attitude toward training and nutrition. So for me, for instance, right now, like I've been able to put on a decent amount of mass, and I worked with, I did a training session with a girl that I competed with in 2019. Her name's Olivia Rafenberg. She's pro now, just had her pro debut. And so she kind of introduced me into like the style of it. But I do 2 sets in an exercise. So I'll do some warm up sets into my working weight. But like those 2 sets, it's like full on. If it's a machine, like I'm going to failure. If I've got a partner, I might push past failure. But it's those 2 sets, I'm done, next exercise. And you're talking anywhere from like 5 to 8 exercises per workout. And that's always based on my nutrition. And the reason for that is like right now I'm in a caloric deficit. And so if I'm trying to do a ton of volume, which I made this mistake, there's a huge guy at the gym, like super awesome to train with. He had like a 60 plus set workout that we did, and I was wrecked. And then I like got sick afterwards and all that stuff. I don't have the nutrition, I don't have the caloric intake, I don't have the nutrients to recover from that like I would in an off season. So it really goes hand in hand that, if you're going to have these big volume amounts of exercises, that your nutrition needs to support the recovery for that, which means you're going to have some more food. So trying to do this, we're going to do a ton of volume and you're going to starve yourself to try to lose weight at the same time and push through it, like more isn't always better when it comes to sets, and less calories and like less nutrition. Like it's not always like, that's not always the key. Like you really have to balance the 2 together. So,
and you know what? I'm glad that you addressed this, because I've had to say no to a lot of people, like even like coworkers. They want me to like join in their sets and reps and stuff like that. I'm an introverted person anyway, but like at the same time, it's one of those things where I know what I came in the gym to do, and that's what I need to do to stay on my program, because I'm also in the military. So like I'm kind of doing like a combination training between, something that looks like CrossFit and something that looks like Army Fit, right? And so that's really hard. And I like my aesthetic appeal, right? Like I like having, like I like being pretty ripped, but I also know I can't get too heavy because I know I feel like crap.
Yep.
And I think that's super powerful that you talked about that, because like you got a lot of people out here that's just doing just about any workout or any exercise. Like that's one of my biggest issues with CrossFit. Like I think it's the allure a lot of times with CrossFit, and I'm not like anti-CrossFit, but I notice when I do CrossFit, I didn't want to work out for 3-4 days. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, it's so much on the body. So they'll go in the gym, see everything that's on the chalkboard, yet they haven't had the nutrients to support that.
Yep.
Like my first experience with CrossFit, there was a hill. Like this was in Carbondale. Shout out to my boy Nathan Qualls. We wrestled in high school, so like wrestling is intense. Like you just go all day. You go, climb the ropes, running 6 miles, 4 miles, all that. But it's like at that time we was eating junk, and so we out here knocking down monsters and then trying to run a hill, and I'm like dying. It's not necessarily that you're throwing up because like it's a part of the process, right? Like a lot of people, it's a part of the process. Yeah, get strong, be big, whatever. I'm like, dog, like you only get one life, you only get one need, set of needs. And I think it's vitally important to understand that more isn't always better, less isn't always more. Because even if you watch superior athletes, a lot of times like there was a difference between like Kobe and Jordan, right? Like Kobe would go hard. But Kobe had a lot of major injuries in his career, like quite a few. But like Jordan, on the other hand, they both had the same trainer, but Jordan was like, he was going to show up, put in the work, he was going to challenge people. but eventually he had to get very smart about his training regimen, about his nutrients, everything.
Yep.
And it was one of those things where he got to a point where they were counting how many reps he had on one leg. So when they would go into the gym, they would target one set of, one leg a little bit more and put a little bit more on this one, a little bit less on that one. And
Yep.
this ties back into being intentional and deliberate about your workout process. So that's really huge. I'm glad that you brought this up because like this morning, like, so sometimes like speaking of trying to go hard. So 2 weeks ago, I tweaked the side. I tweaked some muscles in my core because I was trying to go hard deadlifting after work. And I was like, oh yeah, let's go. Nah, wrong answer. Now every time I pick up a package this way, I'm feeling it on the side. So that's super, super important. Like it is phenomenal. So let's get to our Q&A. So this ties actually really, really well. So this question is, how often should I rest?
Oh man. So the thing with coaching, the thing with nutrition, the thing with fitness is you're gonna get a lot of it depends answers, and that's because it depends on what are you doing, what is your goal, what does your training look like, and what is your nutrition to support that, because that's realistically that is going to dictate what you need as far as recovery. Also, you look at how advanced is somebody. So you're going to take someone like a beginner, their recovery is going to be like, it's going to be little things are going to be more taxing to them than it is going to be for an advanced athlete. So, they might only want to start working out or like really lifting like 3 to 4 days a week, where you have like somebody like me where it's like, I work out, I'm in the gym 6 days a week, doing about an hour and a half with the weights and about another hour and a half cardio. But like I can handle that to where like another person can't. So really I would say, I would track that. I think that's probably the best thing that I would say is if you're not logging your workouts, I would start logging your workouts, tracking your progress. And if you see that you're stalling or you're not progressing or you're really hitting a plateau, that is a time where you really need to look at one, your nutrition, and then two, maybe you need to pull back a little bit and add a couple recovery days in there more than what you're already doing. So, like I said, it depends.
Okay. So, question. So, when it comes to rest, what do you feel like is a major hiccup with like your clients per se when it comes to rest and recovery?
So I think it's all very client dependent. Just because you have some people to where they have discomfort and then they think that, that automatically means like they're tired and they need to rest, and not necessarily. It's just it's going to be uncomfortable. But then I've got some clients who are really, really like balls to the walls with it, and you kind of have to pull them back and be like, hey, like, look, we've got you in a deficit now. Like, I don't want you doing as much. Like, I know that sounds painful, but you're gonna wreck yourself. So really, it's just having the hard hitters, knowing when and how to address them trying to pull back, and then noticing the people that are newer at it and trying to explain to them that just because I say you need to be careful with recovery, like you also still need to realize discomfort is a very like necessary part of the process. If you're not uncomfortable, like you're probably not progressing. So I don't know if that
That's
answers your
interesting.
question.
No, that's pretty good. And I think like that brings up another point of the fact that make sure that you vet your personal trainer. As much as they're vetting you to take you on as a client, you need to be vetting them and seeing exactly what they bring to the table. Because like literally, like the other day, like I looked at an ad and they were just hiring personal trainers off the street, like at a gym. I ain't gonna say which one, but they were just hiring these people, and I'm like, it's good to get started and things like that, but we got to be intentional about the people that, because you get one body, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to be walking around like being super resentful and regretful about the experience you just had. So what were you about to say? Were you about to say something?
Yeah, I was just I mean, yeah, like you said, everybody starts somewhere, but I also think, there's a difference between a personal trainer and then a coach. And, I think a lot of people, when you first get your certification and you go into a gym and you're doing this whole sets reps thing, like you are very much just kind of a personal trainer. But realistically, like a coach is somebody that is going to have a more like well-rounded perspective. Um, but yeah, you're 100% right. People should totally vet their coaches. I mean, if you get a coach that's very, like my way or the highway kind of deal, like if you have questions and they can't answer why, or they're not willing to tell you that they don't know and then they get you an answer why, like, there's probably a couple red flags that you want to think about. So.
Okay, so make sure, ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap this up, make sure, and in between, whatever, your suggested pronoun is, because we respect all that, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that, you vet the people that are coaching you and training you. Even the buffest person in the gym might not have any actual expertise about the fitness lane. So that's why we had these conversations. But this is it for episode 3. We will see you guys on episode 4.